Three, two, one. Hi, everybody, and welcome to part 3 of Life and Winning and Losing, where we add life bars to reflect the new information for the variables, the HP, the Snorlax life, and the enemy life and the hero life that you've added before. If you look down at the life meter, you see it's going down, even changing color, added the little extra. If I'm attacking him, you'll notice it's slowly going down. Now, that is reflecting the 10 frames that I had to get to victorious, but really the amount of HP you have and your enemy has, or whatever variable you want to use, could be anything, whatever you want to make it. So before I go over and show that code, I want to show a project from last year that a student of mine did, a 2-player game where one person controls with WASD and the other person controls with the up and down arrows, and that they both have attack animations. So you'll notice what's happening here is, I'm going to press both attack animations at the same time. The life meters are going down every single time that they touch the enemy projectile or the opposite projectile. You'll also notice something kind of goofy about this a little bit is every time they get hit, the HP is moving. When she put this together in Pixlr, she didn't make sure that it was in the same location, so just jumping around each control paste, control paste, control paste, but the HP is in a slightly different position each time. If you're going to create a life bar, like I'll show you how to do, you might want to make sure everything is set in Pixlr beforehand. Okay, so I'm going to jump back into my game, and I'm going to take a look at my code. I made these kind of like Pokemon-esque life bars in my costumes. So you'll notice it's kind of almost like a sprite sheet. So first, you've got to find the thing that's going to represent your life. We could do something easier with hearts, but I'll show you what I did with the Pokemon ones for right now. 3, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see. So this is the art that I made, and then I took it into Pixlr, or you could also do it with the tools in Scratch. And then I got my brush tool. I made my brush a little bit bigger. I changed the color, so you click on the eyedropper and you can change the color to whatever color you want to erase out. And then you can just like click in here, you can drag and you can paint in to whatever location you want. So you can kind of maybe make it shorter or lighter. If I come here and I wanted to maybe straighten that out, I can do that right now. If I wanted to change that color, say I wanted to change that yellow, I can click on the paint bucket and I could grab that blue and I could come in here and click that and I could change it to blue. So I think that this should give you a general idea. So creating a life bar is a little bit like creating a sprite sheet. So now if you look at the enemy, he had 10 life, so it's a much bigger affair. And then when we look at the code, what's the code going to be? Should be pretty simple if you think about your variable. So we have Snorlax life, right? And Snorlax life goes down every time he's hit by the Fire Awesome Ball of Doom. Starts at 3. So to change it, when I go to my costumes here, I have in a forever loop. If Snorlax life equals 3, then switch costume to costume 1, which is full life. If Snorlax life equals 2, switch costume to number 2. So what this is, how you assemble this, I think you should know. You bring in your forever loop, and you're starting your forever loop, and you bring in your if statement. We're going to go grab that green, same as we did for before, and we can bring in that equals. And what we can do is we can bring in our data. So I get my Snorlax life. The villain, we're going to do the same thing for the villain. Be my villain life, and I can just do that equals 3. I'll start. I'll go to looks, and I'll bring in that switch costume 2. And I'll start at costume 1. And then I'll just right-click duplicate, bring it down, right-click duplicate, bring it down. For the villain, I'm going to do this 10 times, and just change that to 2 and 1. Change that to 2 and 3. So as your life variable drops, your costume for your life bar will decrease and it'll get smaller and smaller, or it'll change in the way you want it to. So just real quick, I'm going to run over if you search for something called like a pixel heart or any image you want, you could also turn that into a life bar. So if I right click and I save image as, now if I go into Pixlr and I go file new image, I'll go transparent, but I'm going to make this small because we're in Scratch. I'll do 240 by 320, which is going to be real tiny, low resolution, right? This is what it starts out as. So I'm going to make it kind of full screen, and I'm going to zoom in a ton though, so I'll make it look big. So I'll bring in my layer, open image from layer, and make sure I'm on the desktop. Grab that pixel art, it's going to be huge, right? Edit, free transform. So I'm going to shrink that guy down. Smaller, 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 smaller. So one way we could do is almost creating a sprite sheet like we did before. So if I bring this down here, and here's my pixel heart, right? If I duplicate that layer, I can move it over a little bit. And I could merge those down. and duplicate both of those. So almost in the way of creating a border. Merge down, duplicate layer. I'm going to crop this guy out here, hit enter. And now I've got what is basically a sprite sheet for hearts or for life. So what I can do is center that. If I wanted to change the color, maybe for Snorlax, I don't want red hearts. I want blue hearts. Jump up to my hue and saturation. Change it over to blue hearts for Snorlax. So I'm going to do save as. I'm going to go over to my Snorlax life again. And I'm going to grab my heart sprite sheet. And so notice I have my 8, right? I don't want 8 though. I just want 3 because I only have 3 life. So I'm just going to get my eraser. Make my eraser real big and take this down to just 3. Okay. I'm going to duplicate and make it just 2. I'm going to duplicate and make it just 1. So I got Snorlax Life 2, Snorlax Life 3. Those, I should probably name those the opposite because it makes it sound like there's 3 here. But if I know what it is, that's what matters. So Snorlax Life 2, Snorlax Life 3. The only thing that I need to do now is I would need to add. So now I start with 3. I get hit 2. I get hit 1. Bank. All right, I'm going to start the game over. If I wanted this to move around, what could I do? I can move it up to the top right here. I would want to bring in my code to make sure it always is put there. So what happens to my sprite sheet, my Snorlax Life? Snorlax Life bar, good to go. Boom. I think you get the sense of it. I'm excited to see what you make. Okay, have a great one. Bye.